Hi everyone, it's Julia Day. I'm a drummer from Australia, and I wanted to just do a brief, I suppose, introduction and very biased review on this fabulous book. Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer by Jim Chapin. First published in 1948, an extremely groundbreaking book for its time, and still today I feel that way about it. Written 3 years after the end of the Second World War, when the world was kind of trying to start a new happy life, this book is testimony to that, because I can hear the happiness in this book, and that's partly attributed to the fact that it was the very first time, I think, that melody had been, considered as part of the drum set. Prior to that, it had been written off as just a timekeeping instrument, and there was a bit of resistance to the drums becoming a solo instrument. The traditionalists didn't like that idea, but Jim Chapin didn't care, and he loved bebop, and he wanted to write about a system where drummers could learn four-way coordinated independence to achieve the maximum vocabulary, if you like, on the drum set. So what I wanted to do, is take you through the book itself, so you can see what it's about. A lot of people are put off by this book because they think it's really hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy, but the concepts in it are really fabulous, and they make the learning process so much easier. So let's just have a look at the book. There is an introduction by Jim. Really great read. Don't just flick past it. Read it and see. He's written a little bit about jazz history there, and about how to practice the book and concepts and so on. So the book is 3 sections, and section 1, section 2, and section 3. And section 1 has parts A to D, and you'll be dealing with those sections for a while, because they'll keep you busy. There's no doubt about it. But this is the way he's written it. Essentially, you've got the swing rhythm up the top, and which is played on a cymbal, ride cymbal or hi-hat, and down the bottom we've got the snare drum part. And you might be able to see that there's dotted lines here, so you can see where the hands line up. And over here he's got the key where he squished that down together, and you can see what's happening. So here we've got ride cymbal and snare drum playing together, and then snare drum on its own, and then together again, together again, together again, snare drum on its own, together, together, and so on. So you can see how it all fits together. Now that's a really simple, brilliant concept, but remember, you're only playing your hands at the moment. If you know a little bit about jazz and you want to put in your hi-hat, then obviously you're going to be playing it on the 2 and 4 of the beats. If you're not confident in doing that because you just started, then just stick to what he's showing you and just try and get this happening at first. Now the concept of the book basically takes you through 12 exercises, the core 12 exercises. Okay? So that's the last one. And here we start with some 1-bar exercises, some 1-bar phrases. But what he starts to do almost straight away to challenge you is to start putting in accents. You can see that there. The accents are starting to be put in. This is trickier than you might think, but you take it slow and you go methodically, and you listen to the sound that you're making and just nut your way through it. So there you've got the 8 exercises. Then he pushes you into the deep end of the pool and gives you a solo almost straight away. Solo exercise 1A is a 16-bar drum exercise, and it's a summary of everything you've just done. And you can probably already see that if you've got other drumming books, that this concept and this method has been copied over time by other drum authors, because this method works. And then he gets into the most beautiful part of this book, which is the melodic exercises. As I was saying, it's the first time that somebody actually thought about melody on the drums and wanted to write about it, really. So he takes you through the melody using the various phrases with the accents, playing the melody on the snare drum against the swing pattern on the ride cymbal. Okay. Over the page, it continues. You've got a couple more exercises. And then we repeat the whole process again in section B. And he's playing straight eighth notes against the swing pattern. And so we know what to do now. We've done it all in the first section. We just repeat everything we've done, learning this new phrasing with the straight eights against the swing pattern, and we just repeat it all again. So we've got our method. And that's what's brilliant about this book. It's a turnkey method. You learn it and it makes sense. It's methodical, it's logical, and you can apply it to the first half of the book. Then we get to section C, which is straight triplets. It's just triplets against, the swing pattern. And then section D is semiquavers or 16th notes against the swing pattern. Yes, it's looking more complicated, but the concept is the same, and you just keep following the concept. You keep following the method, and you'll get through it. Section 2 is a short section, and it's more rhythmic concept. So it's quite advanced, I suppose. He's talking about taking two of the different solo lines and writing them above one another at your discretion and trying to practice them against one another. So you're really pushing the rhythmic boundaries, and some of it will sound great and some of it will sound like just an exercise, but they're all worthwhile exercises because it's all about coordination in the end. It's giving you the facility to be able to play pretty much anything. Section 3 is a big section, and in this section it's just, we're now adding the bass drum. So on the bottom line you can see it's snare drum and bass drum working together against the same swing pattern. So the good news is that the swing pattern goes the whole way through the book. And against that you'll be playing snare drum as a solo instrument, and then in the last section you'll be playing the snare drum and bass drum together as a solo piece. So that's the book. It comes with the 2 audio CDs, originally recorded in I think 1963, and if I'm not wrong, probably one of the first examples of the music minus one concept. Quite brilliant, but don't ever underestimate how brilliant this guy was as a drum educator, and really his contribution to drum education history is just mind-blowing. If you think about the relevance of this book and also George Lawrence Stone's stick control, it's just incredible. And every other book really that we know has been kind of taken from these two concepts because they just work. So there you have it. It's not that scary. It's actually really great, and you can do it. You just have to be methodical. What I would suggest though, if you're going to try and do the stuff in this book, is that you really need to have a really great concept of the swing pattern. That's ding, ding, da ding, ding, da ding, with the chick, chick on the hi-hat, on the 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the swing thing. You need to really practice that, and you need to play it against some of the great drummers so you understand, what swinging is all about, what the swing feel is all about. You need to do it for, hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours to get a feel for it. But play with the great players and really listen to what they're doing, okay? Because you'll hear how different everybody plays, but the multitude of possibilities for even just the swing rhythm, okay? And then you can apply it to this, and you'll start to develop your own style. But you need to have big ears, okay? You need to listen, and if you listen and you go through it methodically as he's written it, you'll get there. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful to advanced techniques for the modern drummer. I'm Julia Day, and I'll catch you sometime soon. See ya.